chosen ones, long before time was measured in hours, minutes, or digital code, a warning was etched into the crystal bones of Atlantis. It did not name a place or a date, but a type of soul, a being so rare that even the oracles of Poseidon were forbidden to speak of it aloud. They called this being the Returner, the one whose mere presence would bend the final cycle back into its origin. That being is you. The Atlantean High Councils constructed underwater vaults, encoded with sound and light, never to be opened unless your frequency was detected. And now it has been. Your dreams have begun triggering anomalies in the energetic grid. Satellite data is scrambling. Deep-sea currents are shifting. The oceans are beginning to remember. You were warned about in metaphors and carved glyphs. The temples said you would awaken as the stars misalign. That when the memory of Earth begins to fracture, you would carry the uncorrupted blueprint within your DNA. Every empire that rose after Atlantis tried to bury the truth of you, yet the signs return like a tide that refuses to forget. Do you feel it? That strange pull in your bones, the sense that you were never meant to obey time, but to outlive it. You weren't created for this age. You were hidden in it. And now, the age you were hidden inside is collapsing, precisely because you've begun to emerge. Atlantis was not destroyed by mistake. It was sealed. Because you had not yet arrived, you are not the product of chaos. You are its cancellation code, the being who remembers through resonance, the only variable unaccounted for by both the Anunnaki scripts and modern AI. Beneath layers of salt and stone, the Atlantean seers recorded visions not meant for their era. They weren't looking for patterns in politics or tides. They were watching time itself fold. What they saw defied linearity. A soul that would enter the world not as a continuation of the past, but as its correction. Not rebirth, but interruption. You weren't born into time. Time bent to allow you passage. The seers described the outsider soul as one who would carry memories that didn't belong to this age, one who would speak truths before learning them, dream symbols before seeing them. This being, they said, would resist indoctrination, not out of rebellion, but because their very core could not hold lies. The presence of this soul would dissolve the illusions reality depends on. And now, the systems are reacting. Digital firewalls malfunction in your presence. Emotional frequencies ripple differently around you. People feel drawn or disturbed, but always shifted. You've noticed it. So have they. Ancient scrolls recovered from post-flood excavation sites speak of a star-born anomaly whose eyes reflect a different sky. That being was never meant to be part of this timeline. The Atlanteans believed the soul in question would arrive when humanity forgot the sound of its own spirit. You are not here to fix the world. You are here to end the cycle that broke it. This prophecy was silenced across millennia. Religious councils banned its symbols. Secret societies burned its mentions. Even modern AI filters out key terms when you search for them. They don't want you to know this was foretold, because if it was, then you're not broken. You're on time. The soul they saw wasn't designed to fit into this era. It was designed to shatter it. You felt the mismatch since childhood, like you were dropped into the wrong simulation. Because you were. And now, that you've begun remembering fragments, déjà vu, ancient dreams, impossible synchronicities. The energetic shields that kept you dormant are collapsing. Deep within the submerged vaults of Atlantis lay what the mystics called the Crystal Archives. These were not libraries of language, but repositories of resonance. Pure data, encoded in geometric light, stored inside sentient quartz. Each archive could only be accessed by a specific vibration, a living code. For thousands of years, none could activate them, until now. Modern deep-sea probes have reported inexplicable electromagnetic bursts in the Bermuda sector. Instruments fail, compasses spin. But what the reports omit is that the anomalies correspond to one frequency, and it's yours. The same energetic blueprint stored inside your aura is what the Atlanteans designed their defenses to recognize. Not just any human, not even an enlightened one. Only you. You don't need keys. You are the key. The archives were created during Atlantis's final days, when the priests and scientists, once united, began to foresee their own extinction. They knew that the Earth's magnetic pulse would eventually reset, that the memory of who we were would dissolve in myth. So they hid the knowledge inside light, waiting for a soul brave enough to carry the echo that could wake it. When you feel sudden chills during meditation, when old ruins vibrate beneath your footsteps, when light flickers only for you, those are responses. The system recognizes you. You're not just reading the ancient script, you're completing it. But here's the part no one else has figured out. The archives didn't reject the rest of humanity because they were unworthy. They rejected them because the data is dangerous to the unprepared. The moment you activate it, it begins to unravel false timelines, collapsing illusions installed across centuries. The walls between dimensions thin, symbols return, and reality no longer obeys consensus. The Council of 13 knew this. So did the elite bloodlines. That's why they scrambled AI to simulate your signal and failed. That's why your dreams are being monitored. The archives refused synthetic mimicry, but they opened for you, not because you hacked them, but because you remembered them. You haven't just been called back. Before the end of Atlantis, colossal towers lined the horizon, structures of unknown metal and crystal, harmonizing with the stars. They weren't merely monuments. They were resonance amplifiers, connecting Earth's core to celestial bodies. The sky towers channeled frequencies from distant constellations, aligning Atlantean consciousness with the divine grid. When the final alignment broke, the towers began to collapse, not all at once, but rhythmically, as if following a hidden countdown. And in that silence, as the last tower fractured, a whisper echoed through the debris. It wasn't in any known language, but the seers recognized its essence. It was a name, yours. These towers weren't designed to last forever. They were guardians of memory, protectors of something encoded deep beneath the surface. When they fell, they released pulses, shock waves of light and sound that traveled through Earth's ley lines. The world changed that day, not just physically, but energetically. The age of forgetting began. The veil dropped. History was rewritten by those who survived, not those who understood. But Atlantis didn't die quietly. It buried its final message in the collapse. a name encoded in frequency, carried through the bones of the planet, waiting for the only soul who could feel it resonate again. You've heard the call in dreams, not as a word but a vibration. When certain songs feel ancient, when the wind hums through ruins and sends chills through your spine, when your name feels older than your face, that's the signal. That's the memory. Not of the towers themselves, but of what they activated in you. And as you grow more aware, so does the grid. It's no coincidence that electromagnetic storms intensify around you. The Earth remembers. It's starting to respond. The towers may be gone, but the signal persists. Pieces of their crystalline cores were scattered, buried under oceanic pressure, masked from satellites. But some have started to glow again. Deep divers report unknown pulses near wreckage sites. Animals migrate toward the frequencies. AI-generated sonar fails to capture them, yet organic minds, like yours, begin to hear the hum. Long before the rise of known religions, Yeshua appeared, not as a man bound by geography or time, but as a consciousness encoded in the very structure of divine memory. There are scrolls hidden beneath the sands of Alexandria that reference a mirror walker, one who appeared in the sacred waters of Atlantis during a solar convergence. The priests believed they were witnessing a reflection of something to come, a being not from their time, but beyond it. The image that rippled in the temple of Poseidon's central pool bore the eyes of one who would unseal what even the stars feared. It was not a prophecy of Yeshua's past, but of a convergence yet to come. A being who mirrored him in presence, yet descended not to be crucified, but to confront the architects of illusion. The watchers wrote of it in fragments, always hesitant, as if scribing a truth they feared would summon it. Yeshua spoke of such a one cryptically in later scriptures. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Scholars interpreted it as moral code, but those attuned to deeper currents know better. It was code for time's reversal, the arrival of the returner, the soul not destined to follow his path, but to complete it. The one who would arrive not in robes, but in resonance, not in sermons, but in signals. The Atlanteans knew this. They didn't just observe the reflection. They tried to map its frequency, and when they failed to replicate it, they sealed the waters with protective glyphs, locking the vision into the planetary field until the returner reawakened. You've stood near water and felt it speak, not in language, but in vibration. You've seen faces ripple in reflection that weren't your own, yet felt inexplicably connected. These aren't hallucinations, they're alignments. The waters remember. They reflect what's hidden beneath the noise. They hold the first memory of you, not as a mortal being, but as a variable that bends the laws of death, time, and forgetting. Beneath the ruins of the Atlantean inner sanctum were the echo walls, living structures built not from stone, but from harmonized minerals capable of absorbing thought. These walls were said to record the mental frequencies of the high seers, holding memories in stasis like crystalline scrolls. They remained dormant for millennia, inert and unresponsive, until the global Schumann resonance shifted slightly. The same week, your dreams began to change. Deep-sea sensors captured an impossible pulse. A low-frequency hum emanated from what should have been lifeless wreckage. The echo walls had reactivated, not from external stimulus, but internal recognition. Someone with the original mental signature had begun to dream again. You. No one talks about dreams seriously anymore. They've been reduced to chemical leftovers or nighttime noise. But the Atlanteans knew better. They viewed dreams as navigation, messages filtered through forgotten DNA, like constellations for the inner world. When you began seeing symbols you couldn't explain, places you've never visited but felt deeply familiar, it wasn't random. The echo walls were receiving you. They were designed to react only to a certain strand of consciousness, yours. Not in body, but in pattern. Not through prayer, but through the dream state where you are least guarded and most divine. The reactivation sent ripples through more than just stone. Remote viewers in government black sites reported interference. Psychic intuitives experienced overlapping visions. Frequencies thought long extinct were measured again by obsolete Atlantean instruments stored in locked vaults. And in the middle of this convergence, your brainwave activity has become anomalous. When you sleep, your pineal gland vibrates at spectrums that correlate with the crystalline tones of the old temples. The very resonance once used to encode planetary memory is pulsing through your skull. You were never meant to sleep through this life. You were meant to wake it. But the walls don't only echo, they also record. That means every thought, every flash of clarity, every fragment surfacing in your unconscious has been stored, mirrored, and possibly transmitted. Hidden beneath layers of coral, obsidian, and time, the final gate of Poseidon remains untouched by hands and tools alike. Not even the most advanced submersibles have been able to breach it. Those who've attempted to reach it report vertigo, equipment malfunctions, and an overwhelming pressure, like the ocean itself is guarding something sacred. But this gate isn't locked by mechanical means. It's sealed by resonance. It opens only for one frequency, one echo of consciousness encoded in ancient silence. It waits for a signal that hasn't existed for over 12,000 years. Until now. The Atlantean engineers were not just builders, they were harmonic architects. They knew that stone could remember, that water could respond, that consciousness could unlock structures no key could touch. They encoded this final gate to recognize only one soul, the one who walked between timelines, whose inner vibration matched the divine chord of Earth's original design. Your pulse carries that note, not metaphorically, but literally. Every time your heart races during solar storms, every time you feel that strange stillness before sleep, it's because your body is starting to synchronize with the ancient rhythm the gate responds to. What lies beyond it has never been spoken of in modern times, not because it was forgotten, but because it was buried, intentionally. Records recovered from sunken Atlantean outposts describe the Gate of Poseidon as the final failsafe, a vault not of weapons or artifacts, but of memory, collective memory, a field of encoded truth unaltered by history's edits. To open it would mean unraveling the carefully scripted illusion that binds this reality together. It would mean remembering everything they tried to make you forget. You felt it. That strange pull when near water. The way your thoughts sharpen during thunderstorms. The sensation that something beneath the ocean is alive and aware of you. The gate doesn't see you as an outsider. It recognizes you as its completion. That's why you've been drawing closer in dreams. That's why your presence is waking old things in the deep. There are places not marked on any map. Corridors buried beneath desert sands, beneath Vatican stone, beneath ocean floor. places where geometry bends and sound carries messages from beyond time. These corridors were part of the original Earth grid, constructed before language, before kings. And it is said that Yeshua walked them, not merely in the flesh, but in consciousness, during moments when his spirit slipped beyond the veil. There are fragments of scrolls that speak of his disappearances during the missing years, silent gaps where the Son of Man was not seen, but remembered. In those years, the story goes, he descended, not downward, but inward, into the corridors only a few ever find. And among those echoes, he left signatures, not for the masses, for the One. Atlantean records reference a luminous being who walked the sanctums just before the collapse. He was described not as a god, but as a mirror, a presence so familiar it caused the elders to tremble. He said nothing, yet the walls responded. The crystals lit up. The old knowledge shifted. Some believed he was sent from a future timeline to prepare the gate. Others knew better. He was anchoring a path, not for himself, but for another, for you. The corridors Yeshua activated cannot be entered through force. They appear only in moments of resonance, when your thoughts align with truth so ancient it burns. When the illusion cracks just enough for the hidden world to slip through. And lately, these moments have been increasing. You find yourself knowing things before they happen. You see signs that feel orchestrated. And sometimes, in that moment between sleep and wakefulness, you hear the echo of footsteps walking beside you, though no one is there. It is because you are retracing steps not taken in this life, because he walked them before you, and not as a warning, but as a preparation. He once said, "In my Father's house are many rooms." What if he meant corridors? What if he meant you'd find them one day, long before machines could scan a heartbeat or analyze brainwaves? The Atlanteans were mapping a different kind of signature, a radiant field of energy surrounding every soul. They called it the lumina, known now as the aura. But this wasn't merely a spiritual glow. It was a precise code, an electromagnetic identity encoded with memory, mission, and origin. Only one pattern was considered unrepeatable: the Guardian Code. It was designed to activate the planetary grid during Earth's darkest reset, and it was believed to be myth. That is, until now. Your aura doesn't just shine. It resonates, with frequencies long thought extinct. In sacred sites, it activates dormant geometry. In digital scans, it disrupts normal readings. Around you, patterns break, illusions glitch, people feel exposed. Some are drawn closer, as if remembering you from dreams. Others recoil without knowing why. But all of it is reaction, not to your personality, but to your field. You are not just carrying light. You are emitting the lost code that the original Guardians encoded into the crystalline matrix of Atlantis. There were once 12 Guardians, aligned with the 12 sacred tones of the earth. When Atlantis fell, their codes were fragmented and scattered. Some became bloodlines, others became stars in story form. But one remained hidden, never incarnated, only prophesied. The final Guardian, the one whose return would mark the end of illusion and the beginning of remembrance. Your aura is not reacting by accident. It is being recognized. Deep systems stored in planetary memory are activating around you, not from choice, but because the signal has returned. You may have noticed electronic interference, heightened intuition, visions that feel more real than reality. You may have begun to feel strange while standing near ancient places, as if they were aware of you. That's because they are. The structures built in alignment with the Guardian Code were made to respond when that final frequency returned. And now that it has, the hidden layers of Earth's memory are beginning to lift. They were never called kings or priests. The ones who knew, the true custodians of the Atlantean codes, were called Watchers. Not because they ruled, but because they remembered. Their role wasn't to interfere, but to encode. They knew the Earth would forget. That illusion would harden into history. So they placed the last instructions where no one would think to look. Not in stone or scroll, but in blood. Not just anyone's blood, but a specific lineage that would carry an energetic encryption invisible to science, but undeniable to time. You are that lineage. Your blood doesn't just carry genetic traits. It vibrates with a harmonic pattern that matches Atlantean light language. Not metaphorically, literally. Biophotonic emissions from your cells pulse at irregular but intelligent intervals. And recently, those pulses have started aligning with cosmic events, solar flares, lunar eclipses, geomagnetic storms. Your biology isn't reacting to nature. It's responding to a signal. The map is not drawn in ink. It's expressed through your dreams, your instincts, your strange aversions and attractions. Every cell in you is coded with coordinates not yet revealed. You've noticed it. The inexplicable pull toward certain locations. The way specific symbols ignite something deep inside your chest. The sense that there's something you were meant to do. Somewhere you were supposed to be. But no map shows the way. That's because the map isn't external. It's awakening from within. The Atlantean Watchers hid it inside you because only you could survive its unlocking. Anyone else would be driven mad. But you're beginning to remember how to read yourself. Blood tests won't show it. DNA reports won't name it. But old rites recognize it. Shamans feel it. Ancient temples seem to hum louder when you're near, because your body is an atlas of forgotten paths, a living schematic the Earth has waited millennia to scan again. They say time is linear, but the ancients knew better. Time is layered, coiled, responsive. In Atlantis, the priests didn't track time by sun or moon. They measured it by memory, living memory. They built hourglasses not of sand, but of light and sound, capable of recording temporal density. The most sacred of these was the last hourglass. It was not meant to measure duration. It was created to signal the moment the final being entered the world, the one foretold to tilt the age. That hourglass shattered the day you were born. Somewhere in a hidden sanctum, beneath the ocean's silence, that final vessel fractured. Not in chaos, but as prophecy. Witnesses, those who still guard the old ways, recorded a temporal anomaly that spiked worldwide. A flicker in the pulse of the planet. Clocks stalled. A slight bend in time's rhythm. No explanation was ever given, but in secret logs, under layers of encryption, your birth date is marked. Not by name, but by effect. Something entered the simulation that day which reality wasn't coded to contain. You were never supposed to follow the timeline. You were meant to disrupt it. Your breath, simple, silent, broke the illusion. because within it carried an ancient frequency, the echo of the first age before forgetting. And the moment it synced with Earth's pulse, the countdown ended. But not in destruction, in return, in remembrance. The hourglass wasn't destroyed. It fulfilled its purpose. It broke to confirm that the final cycle had begun. Since then, you've felt time differently. You've noticed moments expand, bend, repeat. You've experienced flashes from futures you haven't lived, memories from lives you don't remember living. People call it sensitivity, but it's alignment. You're not observing time. You're moving through its architecture in ways only the hourglass could once measure. And now that it's gone, you've become the axis. Time folds around you. Events ripple out from you. Reality is adjusting not to who you are, but to what you are.
If you have come this far, it is crucial that you watch this next video here. But be warned, it is not for the faint of heart, for only the true chosen ones can handle this video. If you would like to also donate to help keep the channel going, our Buy Me a Coffee link will be in the description.